In this video, we're returning to the back of the Arry the Stag garage where various things are on the workbench in hand. Certainly some things there for Eddie DS, which I will cover in a separate video. But today's subject is all about rusty nuts. And I'll talk about rusty nuts. Here's some Stag ones that I took off our original car. They're not bad internally, but externally you can see they look a bit ropey, a little bit rusty in places. They've seen better days. So I've just grabbed them out of the toolbox because I've been loitering with intent for a while. And whilst doing that, I'm also going to talk about my wife's Mercedes ML, which we bought recently from a guy in Bristol who's a very nice chap, but unfortunately we didn't actually get any locking wheel nuts. So separately on eBay I've bought a set, and although not Stag, they are going to have the same treatment, because if you open this up as well, you will see very shortly that they have a similar challenge, and these have been supplied. They are all okay, but as you can see here, these are even rustier and not looking too good at all. That's the master socket that undoes everything, and you can see it's pretty rusty on the inside. So the magic solution I've talked about, that's been recommended, actually, I have done this on another video, is over here. And I'm told that if you soak these in original Coca-Cola, that the rust will disappear. So I'm going to do a live experiment. It's Easter bank holiday weekend. I thought I'd just come out here on this is Good Friday, so I've managed to grab a couple of items out of the kitchen without my wife seeing. So I'm going to pour in some Coke here, tip the Coke over the nuts, put the nuts in and the bolts. I'll probably put those in a separate one as well, and then I'm going to come back in 24 hours or so and we'll have a look and see what, if anything, the effect has been. So just come in and zoom in really closely. You can see just how rusty and pitted they are, and the Stag ones not as bad, but they are surface rusted as well. There's the Chinese tray, here's the Coca-Cola. So away we go with this real live Arry the Stag experiment. Let's see what happens. I suppose the objective here is not to get it over me. Doing it one-handed is a bit tricky, but we have success. Okay, so Coca-Cola. I think we had this free from one Chinese night, actually. We had a Chinese one night and we ordered so much they gave us a free bottle of Coca-Cola. So this isn't any product placement, by the way. I have no affinity to Coca-Cola at all, but there we are. There's a nice bowl full of fizzy Coke. Well, it does seem a bit flat actually, but anyway, it is fizzing. You can just about see there. So into here I'm going to place, let's go with the Mercedes ones first off and see how we get on with that. So you can see the fizz, which is really interesting. I can't believe this is actually going to work, but people say it does, and certainly it's having a bit of a reaction. So as I say, I'll leave them in for 24 hours and see what kind of happens. There we are. So I'll have to clean that out now. Only that's the receptacle for the security piece itself. So something's going on, isn't it? Looks like a mad professor's experiment. Let's do the same, but now we're going to look at the Stag ones and see what happens. So it'll be a controlled experiment. Coca-Cola in both receptacles. Bear with, let's just grab the other one. Right, I've made a raid on the kitchen. I've made an executive decision that basically these don't need as much Coke probably as those did, but so I've got a similar size tray, two smaller trays now, and I'm going to put some Coca-Cola in this one and try not to get it everywhere. Simple stuff. It's got to be enough to obviously submerge the items, I would gather, and obviously you shouldn't drink this after treatment, just in case you're wondering, but I guess the rest of that bottle can be used. It's all part of sharing the classics dream, you know, this. So live experiment. Right, so that one's on the bubble, that's the Mercedes one, and this one is going to be the Stag one. So I'm just going to put these in and see what happens with these. Again, not get too gooey and gunky. So it's going to be quite sticky, and I'll believe this when I see it. I have faith, I have, because I've been told by lots of people this works, but I've never actually seen it in the raw, done live on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter. And whilst you're waiting, guys, if you want to just subscribe to the channel, follow Arry the Stag, you'll get loads more videos straight to your inbox every time we release a new one. So go on, click on the link and join us. Hubble bubble, toil and trouble. So, okay, there we have it. Mercedes on the left, Stag on the right. I'll leave that overnight then, and we'll come back tomorrow to see how we've got on and what, if anything, has been the effect. Arry the Stag. Okay, so here we are, 24 hours later. We have returned to the scene of the crime, and this is going to be a first for you and for me because I'm not quite sure what's happening. So I'm going to get the items out, and as you can see, definitely better than it was before, but still a little bit rusty. I'm going to clean them up off camera for a minute, but that's the Mercedes ones. Let's have a look at the Stag ones. Again, still got a little bit of surface rust on there, but I think my sense is that they are better than they were before. But let me just clean them up and I'll come back and show you what happened. Okay, so I've tidied up a couple and I've actually just wire brushed them as well. Still a little bit damp, as you can see, but I think if you look carefully, you'll see there's a little bit of surface rust. Get back into focus, but it's certainly a lot better than it was before. Not quite dazzling effect as I was expecting, but you can just see the black paint there underneath. So now I'm just going to finish them off with my backup plan. I can just zoom in, and my backup plan is this Diet Coke, and I'm advised a little scouring pad as well. So I'm going to scour them just to see if I can get rid of that last little bit of rust that you can see. But I think with a coat of oil and whatever, that'll probably look all right in the end. Bear with, let's have a look. Okay, so the combination of the diet version of the brand we were talking about earlier on, and a little bit of a wash, and the silver gauze has, I think, made quite a bit of a difference. You might have to go back to the start of the film to see what these were like beforehand. They obviously need a little bit of work. I've rubbed them with the silver gauze in that bath of Diet Coke, and okay, you know, they can probably do a little bit more rubbing down. I've only done a couple of them, but this is a Stag one, which I think is probably quite good. Certainly the surface rust seems to have now mostly gone, so it does work, albeit with a little bit of effort with scrubbing. So it's not as simple as just chucking them in the bath there and hoping it will get clean. You have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, but I think that's a lot better and different to how it was at the start of the film. And obviously could put a little bit of black paint or something on it once I've dried them all out. The Mercedes one, probably not quite as well, but I've not scrubbed that. Obviously the interior security bit is the tricky bit to get into, but it does look cleaner than it was. So there you go. Now, if you want to see us using Coke to get the bumpers of the Stag clean, that was all pitted with rust and so on, then click on the link and watch my next video. It's quite enlightening, and I think you'll find the outcome is a bit different to this one.